Hello and welcome to the weekend wrap-up. I'm Rebecca Brown. Hundreds of people, many allegedly illegal immigrants, are now in custody following a massive operation that stretched across the state. This is a little more than a month after President Donald Trump pushed to crack down on illegal immigration. Brooke Buckner breaks down the major bust.
This arrest operation involved every federal law enforcement agency operating in Arkansas, as well as the Arkansas State Police and the state's 19 state drug task force offices.
U.S. Attorney Jonathan Ross, alongside representatives from local and federal law enforcement agencies, announced the arrests of 472 people over the last 3 weeks, the results of Operation Enforce and Remove. Of those arrested, Ross says 219 are illegal immigrants with previous encounters with law enforcement. The other 253 are suspected of committing drug crimes.
Also, the seizure of nearly 15,000 pounds of illegal drugs worth millions of dollars, to include fentanyl pills, fentanyl powder, methamphetamine, cocaine, marijuana, and 43 guns.
He says the illegal immigrants arrested in Arkansas are from 23 different countries, with convictions ranging from battery to sexual assault against a minor. Of the 219 illegal immigrants arrested, 127 were processed through the ICE Enforcement and Removal Office in Little Rock, 57 in the Fayetteville office, 23 in Fort Smith, and 17 in Texarkana. Immigration lawyer Laura Ferner says the news of these arrests is raising fears within the migrant community. She encourages anyone who may be worried to remember their rights.
If you are encountered by law enforcement, no matter who you are, you have the right to remain silent, and you have the right to talk to an attorney no matter what.
And she says, don't believe everything you see on social media.
And if you hear something, verify and make sure it is actually correct.
In Little Rock, Brooke Buckner, THV11 News.
Since January 21st, when the president issued executive orders to prioritize enforcement of immigration laws, nearly 400 illegal immigrants have been arrested in the state. The crackdown is also affecting grocery stores across the country, as many farms and stores rely on the undocumented for work and for business. Later on the weekend wrap-up, we'll have the full story on the impact it has on one Atlanta grocery store and how they're working to manage. At the state capitol, discussion on a major development and the approach to capital punishment is taking place. The newly proposed bill, known as House Bill 1489, would allow the use of nitrogen gas as a method of execution. It's something that's gathering a mixed reaction from lawmakers.
This is not an easy decision. It never will be an easy decision. I hope it wasn't easy when they took the life of the victims that they took.
Lawmakers inside the House Judiciary Committee face a critical turning point in the ongoing debate over the death penalty in Arkansas.
Representative Moore, aye. Representative Brown,
Aye.
Each yes vote supported Republican Jeffrey Wardlaw's House Bill 1489. The death penalty is already legal here in Arkansas. It's the method of execution that sparked debate across state and party lines. The bill calls for the use of nitrogen gas administered to the inmate through a mask or a sufficient time period necessary to cause death. In Thursday's meeting, Representative Wardlaw says his move comes after the state faced a mass shooting and the state's ongoing challenge to obtain lethal injection drugs. But Democratic Representative Tippy McCullough says this method is simply inhumane.
And I think you can support the death penalty and still realize that the implementation of this new option would have problems because it's somewhat experimental in nature. There's a potential for botched executions.
But it's never easy to take that level of freedom away from anyone. But folks, the current method that is on the laws is not working. We can't receive the drugs, we can't get them, can't buy them, can't force them to sell them to us.
Several testimonies were given Thursday against this bill, most being from religious leaders expressing their opposition.
We can't fight violence with violence, and we need our judicial system to be our guardrails when our best, most loving selves are blinded by grief and trauma.
Arkansas currently has 25 inmates on death row. All have been convicted of capital murder. If this bill passes, Arkansas would join 4 other states in allowing this type of execution.
It's our job to set that policy. Here it is in front of us. It's in your hands at this point, and with that, I'll close.
Some Democratic representatives pointed to the history of Arkansas putting wrongly convicted people on death row, but supporters say protocols will be in place to make sure things go as planned. The bill now heads to the full House for a vote. Lawmakers are also tackling a problem we first reported on last year: cheap disposable vape products from China getting around federal regulations and into kids' hands. State Representative Matt Duffield is working with vape shop owners to ban the sale of the devices in Arkansas. The owners say they purchased and tested hundreds of the devices and found startling amounts of dangerous chemicals and often far more nicotine than is said on the package. Shop owner Scout Stubbs says the so-called closed system disposable vapes undermine the products she sells designed to help adults quit smoking.
It's time to put our support behind American companies and play by the rules and invest in our communities, instead of letting Chinese manufacturers poison us with dangerous, unregulated junk.
The bill hasn't been filed yet, so we don't have all the details, but Stubbs says it will go beyond federal regulations and work with the state's Tobacco Control Division. During the week, lawmakers also working on a 62-page bill known as the Generating Arkansas Jobs Act of 2025. Its sponsors say they want to allow utility companies and co-ops to build new infrastructure faster by allowing targeted rate increases and fast forward through the approval process.
With your support in the passage of this bill, we will create a new avenue for energy production that promotes faster, more efficient energy development while ensuring high levels of accountability that take care of our ratepayers, all while maximizing the goal of our state's economic potential.
Critics are worried the streamlined process will allow companies to sidestep regulators to raise rates. Senator Dismay answered that by saying rate increases are inevitable and his bill gets projects that will eventually lower rates up and running sooner. Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders threw her full support behind the bill. On Friday, senators sent the bill to committee where it was recommended that it do pass and now heads to the full Senate for a vote. Meanwhile, Arkansas lawmakers rejected a controversial bill that would have required public school kids to watch an anti-abortion group's fetal development video. The Baby Olivia Act narrowly failed to pass a Senate committee this week, despite passing the House by a wide margin. 2 Republicans and 2 Democrats blocked the bill in committee twice. Sponsors say they will try again. And Tuesday, the governor announced a new website bridging people to their future career. The site, which is called Launch, takes Arkansans looking to gain new skills and develop a career and connects them with training and job opportunities.
I'm really excited about the announcement that we are going to make that I know is going to be huge for Arkansas and for our state's economy.
And they can navigate based on what their interests are, what their needs, if it's for service or if it's for employment, or considering what the next 10 years might look, how they can navigate through occupations.
Launch isn't just looking for job seekers. Employers can also sign up to connect with people. Across the river, Mayor Frank Scott Jr. giving his annual State of the City. In it, he outlined a bold vision for the future while confronting challenges here in his 6th year in office. THV11's Catherine Rowley was there and has more on the 3 topics the mayor is most focused on.
For me, getting back to the basics is continuing to ensure that every resident feels safe in their home, neighborhood, and throughout our city.
Just 3 months into 2025, Little Rock is already seeing an uptick in homicides. In 2022, the city saw its deadliest year on record with 81 homicides. But last year, we saw homicides drop 42%.
We're tackling public safety from every angle, not just responding to crime, but preventing it before it happens.
To help, the mayor says the city plans to unveil a text 911 feature later this year.
We are working around the clock to ensure residents and visitors alike feel safer in our city.
Up next, housing. The mayor touched on multiple housing initiatives to help those who are unhoused or facing a housing crisis. During the State of the City, the mayor said he would be declaring housing a public health crisis.
When residents don't have access to safe, stable, and affordable homes, every other aspect of life is impacted.
Inflation has impacted everyone in Little Rock, and the mayor says it's no different at the city. That's why he's pushing his office to do more with less.
We have to identify new funding sources and propose ways to cut costs so that the city board can make more informed decisions about the city's financial future.
That means making tough decisions when it comes to what and who the city is partnering with.
Public-private partnerships and the sale of unused city property must be on the table.
Mayor Scott finished by asking neighbors to come together.
Progress happens when all of us come together as residents, businesses, faith community, elected officials to move Little Rock forward.
The mayor also urged Little Rock residents to get involved in their communities to build a stronger Little Rock. The FBI is fighting back against the rise of cryptocurrency scams in Arkansas, how they're helping victims and what you should watch out for coming up. But first, why an Arkansas ranch has become an unexpected hotspot for bird watchers from across the country.
It all started with a Christmas gift. When Cheyenne Honeycutt's daughter, Riata, got a new bird feeder, they never imagined it would lead to a viral sensation.
We look out one day when the snow's on and there's this big yellow bird that's running all the other birds off from the feeder, and I took a picture and posted on Facebook and said, "What is this bird?" And it went crazy from there.
Bird enthusiasts quickly realized this yellow bird was no ordinary feathered friend. It was a yellow grosbeak. Experts tell me never before seen in Arkansas and rarely seen this far east.
This is a bird that lives in western Mexico, but really doesn't migrate in the traditional sense. They maybe move up and down a mountain range a little bit within the year. Occasionally, one individual bird, for whatever reason, gets lost, or its navigation system goes wrong, or maybe a storm blows it off track. And once it's lost enough, it's going to just start searching for habitat, something that looks like a place where it can live.
Cheyenne says calls started coming in and bird watchers arrived from across the U.S.
We've had Pennsylvania. They said somebody from New Jersey, but that may have been before I was keeping a logbook. But we've had Georgia, Texas, Indiana, North Carolina, Missouri. Like, they have come from all over the U.S.
The birders come with binoculars, spotting scopes, and a camera all on hand in hopes of spotting the rare visitor.
Well, for me, it would be a live bird. I've never seen the bird since it normally resides down in Mexico. That it's the fun of the chase, and it's just the fun of seeing the bird.
The Honeycutts have set designated visiting hours, helping the growing number of visitors remain respectful of their working ranch. Why the bird is here and how long it will stay have yet to be determined. But for now, it remains a bright, feathery mystery, bringing a community together.
Let's check in with a few stories you need to know. The Arkansas Attorney General is suing GM. Tim Griffin announced a lawsuit this week accusing General Motors and its OnStar service of selling customer data to a third party without telling people. The case says that despite detailed disclosures, customers never gave what's called informed consent to sell their data. Griffin says the third-party companies then passed that data to insurance companies, leading to higher rates or coverage denials.
OnStar is marketed as a safety product, which certainly it can be, but that's what people were thinking about when they signed up. They were not thinking about the misuse of their data, the selling of their data.
Customers at several storage facilities in Central Arkansas are working to stop people breaking into their units. At least 3 Squarespace storage locations have been hit, including the one on Baseline Road in Little Rock. Other locations, including one in Pine Bluff, have also been targeted. Customers say they haven't received any notice from management about the break-ins, leaving them frustrated and looking for answers.
It's still been ramaged through, and the bad part is they're not telling anyone. They're not telling their occupants, hey, there's something going on. They're not saying anything.
THV11 reached out to Squarespace Storage for comment but have not gotten a response. If you're concerned about the security of your belongings, the Better Business Bureau recommends asking about security and how often facilities are staffed. And if you are robbed,
the customers need to check their policy documents to see what type of coverage, if any, that they have through the storage facility, and then start gathering any documentations for items that you had in storage.
Their Business Bureau says keeping a detailed inventory of items stored can help streamline insurance claims if a break-in occurs. The FBI in Little Rock is warning people about a rising scam linked to cryptocurrency. From Super Bowl ads to viral meme coins, digital currencies are everywhere, making them a target for fraud. Catherine Rowley spoke with an FBI agent who says crypto scams are now the most costly and widespread fraud scheme out there.
With the rise of the internet came the rise of scams, but the latest using cryptocurrency and the unknown around the virtual currency. But as the scams grow, the FBI is hoping to get to you before a criminal does.
Cryptocurrency investment fraud is the largest and most prevalent and most costly scam that's kind of going on that the FBI is tracking right now.
Over the last few years, cryptocurrency has gained popularity with everyday consumers, but it has also gained popularity with scammers. Now, to combat the increase in scams, the FBI launched Operation Level Up.
Cryptocurrency being a prevalent and what a lot of people are looking to invest in right now, that's where we see it. And anytime there is a new rise, a new investment, that's what we're tracking. And this one has risen exponentially over the last few years.
Here's how the scam works. A scammer will reach out to someone online and build a relationship with them. Eventually, they will ask that person to invest in crypto.
We see it across all social media, all online websites.
When a person invests in one of these scams, it can appear to be a great investment. But while it looks like your money is multiplying, the trouble comes when you are trying to pull it out.
The victims want to get their money out, they think they've made a profit and they haven't, and eventually they're unable to get any of their money.
According to the FBI, 76% of the over 4,300 victims across the United States were not aware that they were even being scammed. During Operation Level Up, the FBI says they have saved victims more than $285 million.
That they are the victim of a scam, and to prevent any more money or any money at all going to the criminals.
There are some tips the FBI shared. First, always be hesitant to release any personal information, and do not invest solely off of the advice from someone you met online. And if you do get contacted by someone online and think it could be a scam, the FBI says to report it. If you or someone you know is a possible victim of this scam, we will share the links and a number that you can call to get in touch with the FBI on our website, THV11.com. Back to you.
Earlier in the show, we told you about a massive operation that led to the arrest of hundreds of alleged illegal immigrants. As the Trump administration continues its crackdown on illegal immigration, experts are sounding the alarm on a newly discovered tension point. Businesses that rely on the undocumented to keep their farms and stores open, and as Nicole Valdez found out, that tension can create uncertainty.
Super, gracias.
Inside this Atlanta grocery store, the price of a gallon of milk can at times be what brings in or drives customers away.
How many customers do you think you see here on a regular day?
About 65 customers hungry.
Luz Hernandez opened El Progreso supermarket in 2020, one of her 4 grocery stores across the Atlanta metro.
So the price of food right now, would you say is the #1 problem that your customers are dealing with?
Why they used to come and buy a food full the rack with $100, now it's $300.
At El Progreso, essentials like milk and cheese are staples for her mainly Latino customers, and a taste of home for Hernandez, an immigrant from El Salvador. She crossed the U.S.-Mexico border in 1996 at just 16 years old. She became a citizen in 2012. Now a business owner, Hernandez says she's focused on what's ahead.
You voted for President Donald Trump because of his stance on the economy.
Yes, because economy is one thing and immigration is another thing. And you have to, like an owner, decide what is more affect right away to my customer.
But more than half of Hernandez's employees are undocumented.
How difficult is it for you to balance your feelings on both of these issues?
If you Donald Trump say he's going to fix the economy, I don't think so. He's going to fix the economy without my customer and my employee.
So you don't see a world where he can fix the economy and deport many immigrants?
How the economy is going to growing? Maybe it has to close. You know, no customer, no business.
You worry there's a chance you may lose?
I cannot handle it with no employee, and I cannot handle it with no customer. Impossible. Impossible.
Nicole Valdez, CBS News, Atlanta.
As baseball season approaches, the Little Rock League celebrates 2 decades of community and inclusion. How the Miracle League has made a lasting impact on players and their families still ahead. But first, it's time to eat it up.
If somebody says, my mama made it or my nana made it, it's going to be some of the best dessert you've ever had. This week on Eat It Up, we're in Minor Country, right across the street from Bauxite High School at the Whistle Stop Cafe. In fact, this is the only cafe in the town of Bauxite. They got sandwiches, they got soup, they got salad. Oh, and by the way, they also got desserts made by Mama and Nana. That's all you need to know. So what do you say? Let's eat it up!
My husband and I graduated from Bauxite in 2011. We've both grown up out here. My husband and I started kind of brainstorming on what we might want to do. We decided a cafe would be something fun to do in Bauxite. We haven't had anything in a really long time, especially not anywhere to go eat other than gas stations. Bauxite was incorporated in 1972, and so there's nothing after that about any cafes, restaurants, anything like that. So it's at least been prior to 1972 that the last restaurant was in Bauxite. Years ago, Bauxite was a booming town. It was a mining town, and so there's a lot going on here. There was a depot that stood basically right here where we are, so we're right on the train tracks. And so to go along with the train theme, we chose the Whistle Stop Cafe for our name. I can't even begin to explain to you how kind, generous, just wonderful everybody's been. The community has been so supportive, it's been amazing. So we've started off with a fairly limited menu just to kind of get our bearings and work towards something better. So we have soup, salad, sandwiches right now, but this week we're adding burgers to the menu and fries. With our dinner specials, we're a little more creative, it's different. We do meatloaf, mashed potatoes, green beans, and a roll. That's a pretty common one that we do. We've done chicken Alfredo a couple of times. And we have coffee. We have a crusher coffee is what we call it, and it's the espresso type coffee. And then we've also got just regular old drip coffee. So we've got carrot cake with a cream cheese icing.
You know me well.
And it's delicious.
Wow. You're just making viewers jealous.
It's a little messy, but it's good.
It's crunchy too. Oh my gosh, it's so good. Not everybody does it, but I'm fully pro put as many crackers as you can into the soup. Are you getting that out of a can? No. I think I'm getting the club every single time. I'm getting a lunch spot with the pickle spears, bag of chips, or maybe a little pasta salad, bread, butter, toasted to perfection. You gotta get the wafer in the bite. If there's wafers available, you gotta get the wafer in the bite. That's when you know it hits, is when you just don't talk and you go, and then you just lean back. Or I'll.
If you ever drive down Cantrell during the summer and hear the cheers from Junior Deputy Baseball Park, you may think there's a giant party at the ballpark, and you're right. Hayden Balgavy introduces us to one woman whose mission for the past 2 decades is to make sure the hits keep coming year after year.
Soon, the bitter February cold will leave and make way for baseball season.
It's so great because they're so excited anyway to be back with their teammates and their coaches.
The Miracle League of Little Rock's director, Peggy McCall Robertson, says they have 3 rules.
Everybody has fun, no one gets hurt, and there's no judgment.
In 2005, Peggy was inspired by a Miracle League in Georgia, so she partnered with the Little Rock Rotary Club to form a community on Cantrell.
I had an idea, and I got some people around me, and we pulled it off. And that, I mean, right there is, I never thought I'd ever do anything like this, and I'm the luckiest person in the world.
What has transpired over 2 decades is a feeling of belonging, not just for the kids, but the parents as well.
They've gone through their life with our players, who are the most amazing people in the world, but people they're misunderstood by so many in the general population. It's such a nice space for our parents to just be a parent.
As the league celebrates 20 years in the capital city, they've still got players and coaches from the very first season coming out to the ballpark.
All I have to say is if you think you want to come out here and volunteer, or you want to be a coach or engage somehow, think about it seriously, because you may be a lifer.
A lifer just like Peggy.
I can wake up every day knowing I'm doing a great thing, only because of all the people around that make it happen. I just, as I say, stir the pot and poke around and find the people that can love our players and our families and try to get them engaged, because this is a very magical, special bubble.
Opening weekend is April 4th. Volunteers and donations are always needed at the Miracle League. We got the link to do just that right now on THV11.com. Well, sorry we have to end, but we do. That's it for the weekend wrap up. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.